Hello students, in this video we will be looking into an important concept which is very often asked in exams. Bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid. That is, a solenoid behaves similar to a bar magnet. So we may be more familiar with bar magnet than a solenoid. So we draw a comparison between a solenoid and a bar magnet. So first we should know what is a solenoid. What is a solenoid? So we can define it in a simple way. It is a coil or closely wound coil such that its length is very much greater than its radius. I will draw a simple diagram. Generally we draw a solenoid like that. If you want to draw a simple diagram, this is the length of the solenoid. The radius will be the radius of the circles forming the solenoid, say radius. So the condition L is very much greater than R is the solenoid. It may be wound on a core such as iron, or it may be air core solenoid. We are going to prove that this is in behavior similar to a bar magnet. When it carries current. The one experimental verification will be you suspend a current carrying solenoid by a support. You suspend it, then the axis of the solenoid will turn north-south, just like a bar magnet turns. A solenoid, when it carries current also, when suspended, align in the north-south direction. Okay, so we are going to prove this. That is, a bar magnet is equivalent to a solenoid. Bar magnet has an equivalent solenoid. Or vice versa, solenoid is equivalent to a bar magnet. Anything. For that we will be using few formulae. See, number one, we are going to use these formulae. Magnetic field due to current carrying coil. Suppose this is a current carrying coil, circular current carrying coil. P is an axial point. Let's say this distance is x, this radius is r. This is the direction in which the current is. Then the magnetic field at P is given by the formula mu naught I r squared by 2 into x squared plus r squared power 3 by 2. This is a formula which you can derive using which you can derive using Biot-Savart law. Right? Here the plane of the circle is perpendicular to the plane of the diagram. From this also you can get a special case. Suppose if you want to find magnetic field at the center of a coil, current carrying coil, put x is equal to 0 at the center. These are all special cases. At the center, when x is equal to 0, you will get V is equal to mu naught I by 2r. Put x is equal to 0 and simplify. Mu naught I by 2r. I am not going to show this because our aim is different. So mu naught I by 2r for single turn of the coil. If the coil has n number of turns, then you have to multiply the whole thing by n. So I just put n here. For n number of turns. For n number of turns, you will put n. Insert n. One number of turn, put n as 1. So mu naught ni r squared by 2 into x squared plus r squared power 3 by 2. Magnetic field with a bar magnet at an axial point. Magnetic field due to a circular coil carrying current at an axial point. Then magnetic field due to a bar magnet at an axial point. Let's consider this is a bar magnet, say of length 2L. For convenience sake, usually we take 2L. P is an axial point. Say this is R. This is center of the magnet. Then, under the assumption R very much greater than L, the magnetic field at P is given by the formula 2m by Rq. Direction of the magnetic moment will be same as the direction of the magnetic field. This is S, this is N. Or direction of magnetic field same as magnetic moment. Okay. That is the formula for magnetic field here at the axial point. Under this condition, or very much greater than N. In this case, this K is mu naught by 4 pi for free space. Mu naught is called as permeability of free space. Permeability of free space. The value of mu naught itself is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla or later per ampere. This and all basics, you should be knowing it. What we want is this formula. We will be using this in our approach. Okay. Now we will consider the solenoid. Let's say that this is the solenoid. Okay. This is the axis of the solenoid. We will find magnetic field. This is the axis passing through the center of the cylinder perpendicular to the length. Let's say this is O. This is R. 2L is the length of the solenoid. This is the solenoidal frame. Okay. We will find the magnetic field at P due to the solenoid and prove that it is equal to this, which is the bar magnet case. So how do you prove the magnetic field, or how do you get the magnetic field at P in the case of a solenoid? What we do first, we will assume, okay, small element here, small element. At a distance x, at a distance x from the center O, and the thickness of the element is dx. Now what is the shape of the element? Shape of the element now will be a circular coil of n dx number of turns. N is number of turns per unit length. Per unit length of the solenoid. It is also called turn density, small m. So the element is, you have to imagine a little, the element is circular coil of n dx number of turns. Dx is the length of the element. We consider the element to be having such a small thickness that you can simply consider it as a circular coil of n dx number of turns. Okay, now we will use this formula. So small magnetic field at P due to the element is actually mu naught. Capital N is number of turns of the circular coil in our formula, but here it is n dx, total number of turns in the element. Now element plays the role of a circular coil of n dx number of turns. Let's say this is radius A. radius of the solenoid is A. So mu naught n I, instead of capital R squared we have to put A square by 2 into, in the original formula which we mentioned earlier, x was the distance between the center of the coil and the point under consideration, that is this distance, but here this distance is r minus x, because from this to this x, this to this r, so r minus x, so r minus x the whole square plus original formula which we wrote there, no, previously, capital R square, here it is A square raised to the power 3 by 2, right? Here the approximation, here the assumption is this R is very much greater than L, also R is very much greater than A. This is the assumption. Therefore, how will you find the total magnetic field? You will have to integrate from minus L to plus L, because here you know the x can vary from minus L to plus L. This being origin, any distance when you consider like this, you take as minus. So minus L to plus L, that is the range of limiter, that is the limit. Okay, upper limit is L, lower limit is minus L, and you can take the constants outside the integration. So mu naught n I A square, mu naught n I A square constant, take outside by 2. Within this integration you have dx by 2 into r minus x the whole square plus a square power 3 by 2. Okay. Now we can apply the condition. What is the condition we assumed earlier? This one. When R is very much greater than L, you can neglect. Of course, R very much greater than L will also mean R is very much greater than X. Obvious. See here. R is all the way from here to here. So automatically it also will mean R is very much greater than X. So when R is very much greater than X, the things which are inside this bracket can simply be R. Therefore, B is equal to mu naught n I A squared by 2 integration of whatever is there minus L to plus L dx by, I'm sorry, I should avoid this 2. This 2 is not there. Okay. This 2 has been taken out already. So this 2 is here. So don't write one more 2 inside. Dx by r square, because r minus x is r, plus a square power 3 by 2. Again we have r is very much greater than a, so this itself can be written as r square. So again applying this condition, mu naught n I A squared by 2 integral minus L to plus L dx by a square neglected, so r square power 3 by 2 is r cube. So this is equal to mu naught n I A squared by 2, but r cube can be taken outside being constant, r cube integral minus L to plus L dx, which is again mu naught n I A squared by 2 r cube. Integral dx is x, lower limit minus L, upper limit plus L. Okay, this would be equal to mu naught Nia squared by 2r cube into 2l, because L minus of minus L. So finally B is equal to mu naught Nia squared 2l whole divided by 2 into r. Is it clear? Now a small rearrangement, a small manipulation. Multiply both numerator and denominator by 2 pi. Then B can be written as mu naught by 4 pi 2 into 2l into n I pi a squared whole divided by r cube. Some rearrangement. How do you check this? You see 2, 2, 4 pi r cube. So 4 pi r cube. Numerator what do you have? Mu naught Nia square. Mu naught Nia square. 4l pi. 2 into 2, 4 l pi. So everything is written, but just a small rearrangement for some purpose. We can write this as B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into 2 into capital M by r cube, where capital M are the things which are there inside this bracket, which is 2ln I pi a square. Okay. Now this can be taken to be the magnetic moment of the solenoid. So this is total number of turns. So total magnetic moment of the solenoid will be Nia. N total number of turns. Moreover, you see here, this is the solenoid which we are going to consider. It is finite length. Because we have shown the length to be 2l, so you can't consider it to be a very long solenoid. So n is the total number of turns, which is 2l into n, because small n is number of turns per unit length. So this is capital N, this is only the A. Area of the solenoid is A. Okay, Nia, magnetic moment of the solenoid. So this one is. This is comparable to magnetic field with a bar magnet at an axial point. That is also given by the same formula as we mentioned earlier. This can be proved by the normal magnetic dipole method, comparable to electric dipole. We can obtain the expression magnetic field with a dipole at the far off axial point is this. Now look at these two expressions. Do you find any difference? No, you are not finding any difference. Therefore, the conclusion is solenoid behaves as a bar magnet, or we can say bar magnet is behaving as a solenoid. Therefore, we finish our topic by concluding that bar magnet is an equivalent solenoid. Okay, or it is equivalent to a solenoid. Have you understood this? See, it's a beautiful derivation. The integration has been simplified greatly by the assumptions. So we have the conclusion that a bar magnet and solenoid behave in a similar way. Is it clear? Have you understood this? Thank you. We will meet in the next video. Thank you.